Okay, we're going to talk about multiplying binomials. I'm going to start with the method that's described, which is the FOIL method. FOIL starts for first, outside, inside, last. So when we're given a pair of binomials, like for example, x minus 9 and x plus 2, F for first means we're going to multiply the first two terms here. So that would be like x times x. That's our first. And then O stands for outside. So that would be like the outside term here and the outside term here, furthest on the outsides. Again, we're going to multiply. So that would be 2 times x. I stands for inside, so that's going to be the inside numbers get multiplied, so that's a negative 9 times x. And then L stands for last, and then that's going to be multiplying the back two numbers together, negative 9 times 2. Then what we have to do after that is put our like terms together. And so in this instance, both of these two in the middle are like terms, so we're going to combine them. That is a positive 2x and a minus 9x, but then everything else stays the same. So x squared stays x squared. 2x take away 9x is a negative 7x, and then the negative 18 stays the same. Now that's the method that they describe, and I actually have a different method that I like better, and I call it the box. But basically, we're going to start with a big box. And I'm going to draw a circle in the middle, and then I'm going to split that into 4 quadrants, okay? And so here we would have one of our factor sets on the side, and then one of them on the top. And this is an area model. This is an area model for our multiplication. So then in the top corner, we're going to go x times x, and it's really the same as the F in FOIL, the first two terms, okay? And then my inside outside, that's going to be my opposite two corners. So here this is like 2 times x, and they meet right here. So 2 times x, I don't really want to draw all over this, but the 2 times x is going to go here, 2x. And then the 2 times negative 9, they line up again here. The x kind of goes to here, and the negative 9 goes to right here, so that's a negative 9x. And then the bottom corner is from the 2 times the 9, and they match up right here, so negative 18. So you can see my 4 corners. It's the first, the outside, the inside, and the last. But the reason I like this model is because it gives us that circle in the center for combining our like terms. So here we have negative 9x and positive 2x. If we add them together, that's our negative 7x. And you can see on the diagonal, we have our answer. That was the same as the FOIL method. We have our x squared. We have our negative 7x, and we have our negative 18. I'm going to show you a couple more options with this model. So how about we try a squared binomial? So how about x minus 1 squared? When you have a squared binomial, really that just means you have that binomial twice. And we're going to be doing the exact same thing that we just talked about. We can use FOIL, which would be first, and then outside, and then inside, and then last. And again, I'm doing the product every time, x times x, negative 1 times x, negative 1 times negative 1. And then we put our like terms together. The x squared stays the same. Minus 1x turns into minus 2x, and then the plus 1 at the back. And if I tried using my box to do the same thing, we have the x with a minus 1 on the side, the x with a minus 1 on the top. We multiply for all of our boxes. So that's going to be x times x, negative 1 times x, negative 1 times x, negative 1 times negative 1. And then we add our like terms for our center circle. So that's a -1 plus a -1 gives me a -2x. So I got the same answer, but I like the box because it keeps it really organized and we can see our answer right on the diagonal. I'm going to do one more, and this one then won't have those basic ones. We're going to go a little more complicated. We're going to throw in some extra variables here. So how about we go x plus 3 and x squared minus 6x. So if we wanted to try FOIL again, that's our first terms. Can't reach my red marker. There we go. That's our first terms. So x times x squared becomes x to the third. Our outside terms, that's our x times -6x becomes -6x squared. That's our inside terms. 3 times x squared is a positive 3x squared. And then our last terms, 3 times -6x is going to be a -18x. Then we put our like terms together. So x cubed stays in the front. Both of our middle two terms are x squared terms. So we do a -6 plus 3. That's a -3. Variable situation stays the same. And at the back, we have the -18x. And one more time, the same situation, but following the box method. I'm going to put one pair on the side and one pair on the top. And then we multiply for all of our boxes. X squared times x is x to the third. X squared times 3 is 3x squared. -6x times x is -6x squared. 3 times -6 is -18x, and then our like terms in the center, we're adding the 3 and the -6. That's a -3. Variable situation stays the same, and I got the same answer on the diagonal.